the HJ team, and today with us is Robert and Masciave and the BHA winning team from Metropolis. For this session, Robert and his team are going to give us something a little bit different, what they're calling a creative process session for a look that is sort of notoriously controversial, what they're calling the rock and roll mullet. As always, if you have any questions for Robert, you can post them in the Zoom or Facebook chat and we can try and get to them. But Robert and everyone on the team, how are you? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing? You're right.
I'm great. Fantastic. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm looking forward to share what we've got here. So yeah, like you said, it's a creative a session that we're about to start. I wanted to do that rather than just a simple haircut, because I wanted to share with everybody the need to do that kind of exercise, because it's an exercise. The idea really is to avoid applying techniques and using technique. So it's great, you learn your technique like a master, but then you got to learn to break them like an artist, and that's the idea. Before I go on a bit more, because we're going to do it as a team. The whole haircut will be from a draft to the finished look. The draft is really when we experiment. We're trying to find that new look, and I'm going to go through the whole thing in a minute. But first, let me introduce, guys, come. This is Sylvestre Pinot here and Kerry Cushion.
Great to see you.
So from the Metropolis artistic team, we perform together, but most important is that we develop looks together. Kerry is all about color, and then Sylvestre and I doing the styling, cuts, and that aspect. But it's not that separate. We really, gel the whole thing together, because obviously it has to work together. So we communicate well. So these type of sessions is what we do to really develop new look. So, the reason why we're doing this is because it's important to challenge ourselves, to really discover something new. And it's when you do this kind of session that you discover something new. So for me, there's one aspect that often we use, like it's two words that we use in hairdressing and in a lot of things as well, is the success and failure, right? So the concept of success and failure for me can be a blocker for your creative mind and to develop creativity. So instead, I want to today really share how do we not apply that success and failure, because at the end of the day, for me, success and failure is also almost like an end of the road. When you succeeded, it's the end, and when you fail, sometimes it'll be the end. What it means then you have to pick yourself up, etc. Instead of saying we make discoveries. So when you're doing something, you discover. When you discover, it becomes a journey, and then you discover things you like, things you don't, things you want, things you don't, and then you see how you apply it. So, but before I go on to the haircut, I think it's important for me to share my cutting philosophy and how we work in a salon and how we see things. So let me just switch to the screen. I just want to share a few slides. It will be quick, but it's part of one of the master classes, the artisan master classes. Is the idea is to see our work a little bit, like an artisan that sculpts hair. And for me, the creative mind behind it starts with a very simple, I break it up almost like if you're making a house. So, when you make a house, the first thing you ask yourself is that, where do you want it built? So here you'll have the foundation. That's really important. And then you go into the architecture, the way that you want your house to be built. And then the interior design with all the different texture, technique. No, what I'm saying is, sorry, the different, how you decorate it inside. So when you apply that to a haircut, it would be about texture, it would be about all the different fine tuning, and mainly about putting your identity in it, which I'm going to come back on that, because that's quite an important part. And then you have vision. I think visualization is very important. You got to have a sense of vision, and this applies when you work in a salon. If you see things really blur, you never know which direction to take. It's always good to have a good idea to start with, to get you started, to get you motivated onto doing something. And then the visagist, I think this is important because when you create a haircut, and whether it's on the model, whether it's in the client, is always the same, you know. And people tend to think that visagist is just about the face shape, but it's not. It's about the head type. It includes the face shape, the bone structure, or the face features. You know, these are important. Color, whether it's hair color or skin color, you know, and the personal identity. What sort of style do you want to bring? You know, do you want to match the client's style, or do you want to do something different? So this is the important. Okay, and then the way, the approach, the framework. This is important because when I'm going to be cutting, you're going to see me cutting in a very different way. And again, it's going to be an experiment. I want to see if I can discover a new way of approaching this haircut. And that's the way that I see. I'm just comment on it. It's basically a sculpture and his work. Starts with a basic shape and then gradually builds the sculpture that he wants. And then fine tune it to put all the details. So remember, you've got the foundation, the architecture, and then all the details. It's interesting to look at how they work and see, we can apply that to the way we work. So at this stage, it goes back to, let's not apply technique, but use a technique. For me, this is quite important. So these are the tools I'm going to use. I'm going to use scissors and mainly trimmers. I may use a bit of the texturizer today, but we'll see how it goes, And then the rock and roll mallet. So the rock and roll mallet, the mallet is coming back with a vengeance. The mallet is a funny style. It's the one that everybody hates and everybody loves. But what people don't realize is that the mallet has been around for a long, long time. It became famous in the 70s with David Bowie, Rod Stewart, etc. And so I've already revisited with those two look years ago. But I wanted to see today, what twist could we do on it? The challenge that I'm going to bring to myself today, and this is it for this. Let me just turn that to me. One sec. Right, the challenge that I wanted to bring to myself today is, right, so can we reinvent the mallet a little bit? But then can we do it without any hard lines, without lines, with disconnection, so without connection, and can we make a commercial look out of it? At the end of the day, we ask ourselves, what is a commercial look? A commercial look is a look that clients will want, but a look that clients will want maybe again. So we need to look at the technique of how we can make it consistent, and this is what makes a look becomes a, what you call a commercial look,
Yeah.
So I think I don't want to talk too much because we need to get on with the cuts. So let's go, because there's also one thing. Sorry, I'm just going to grab that. Okay. So now we're going to go through. So I've prepared. So the technique, I'm going to go through this and I explain a little bit about it. But you can see here that we already explored the mallet with a different way. We thought, what if a client doesn't want to cut but wants the mallet? Can we create the look and feel of a mallet without doing the haircut? And this is what we did. This is what Sylvestre and I are going to be working on, to really see how we could bring it to the salon, because that becomes a challenge. The challenge is to make it really commercial and to make it so that maybe clients can do that themselves. You see? Okay. Yeah. So that's what we worked on, and we presented that look as well. I think it looks amazing. Sylvestre actually did this one really good, and Kerry did the color. You can see how all of those interact with each other. Yeah. So I mean, Sylvestre, do you want to hold? Yeah. Right. Let me go through now. Hey guys, let me go through now the haircut here. So we know that a mallet essentially is short on the sides and the top, and long at the back. So that's the mallet. Now, what's important is that we keep that. Obviously, if we cut the back short, we haven't got the mallet effect anymore. So let's go through the actual techniques, the sections, because that way we can see how we're going to approach the whole thing. So first of all, the sections are very simple. Ear to ear section, so that I separate that part. Very simple, ear to ear section. Then I've isolated the back with just like a zigzag type of section, because this is going to stay long. I don't know yet how we're going to approach, but this is going to stay long. We're going to cut all the length here, for sure, right? And then all the top here, all the top part, it's going to be cut short to give you that mallet effect. So these sections, I call them the, this section, I call them the experimental sections. They're experimental because at the end, I want to keep these hair long, just to see whether I want a long effect. So we'll decide together. In fact, it's going to be Sylvestre and Kerry and I. We're going to think, does it look good with it being long? Do we lose the mallet effect or not? Should we cut it short? All these things we think together. But this is where we're going to start working. Another thing that I was thinking as an idea, I've not told Kerry and Sylvestre actually. I was thinking of doing the fringe. I'm going to call it a mid fringe. A mid fringe is basically you have a fringe where the size in the temporal area is kind of short, but then you've got the middle part left a bit longer. And when you push it, we could get something quite interesting. I don't know. I mean, if it doesn't work, we cut it short, So you see, that's the idea, is that at this stage, we have a good idea of what we're going to do, but it's still at the draft stage. It means that we can make it evolve, we can change it. The reason why I called it a rock and roll mallet is because, rock and roll is about the getting out of bed kind of look, It's not too overdone, is it? All the rock and rollers, the stars, that's the look. So that's why I thought, a rock and roll mallet would be good.
We spoke a little bit before about there's a new artist that you were interested in that almost inspired this look. Was it Billy No Mates? Yeah,
Billy No Mates. She performed live on Saturday, and she's really she was one of the source of inspiration because that old style that was mainly worn on guys, were wearing that mallet, and then she's rocking it. I mean, she looks amazing. She's a new artist, and I mean, Billy No Mates. Go and check it out. She's amazing, and I think that she's going to be inspiring for us. To do different versions. That's the idea of a creative session. A creative session like this is to be done either with your team, but do it alone too, because you discover new things. And I say, why do you want to discover? Why is this so important? You've got thousands of salons, and in your city you will have lots of different salons. So why should somebody come to you? You create a haircut, and that's great. But it's just a haircut. But if you give a different reason why, if you interact, if you give a bit more of yourself into the haircut, if you discover new things that you can apply, on clients, certainly you become unique and you stay relevant within the industry because there's so many of us. So staying relevant and becoming unique is really, really important. That's the one thing I want everybody to try to push themselves towards. Well, let's get, now the approach is going to be very different. So again, it's a test. So I literally want no guidelines. I'm not going to use guidelines. Again, I'm challenging myself. I want to see if we can discover a different way of approaching, and can we do that in a salon, and we can, if we can repeat it. So the technique behind will be, right, so first, the technique, I'm going to use the scissors in a very different way. I'm going to grab my scissors for a second. One second. And let's see these. Right. So. Okay, ready? Okay, so let's see. Let's go. Okay. So first of all, I know that I want a middle part, to be longer,
just
to see. So my first section is going to be, okay, just, I tend to go quite fast when I cut hair, so I've got to try to slow down so that I can really share.
Yeah, if you could just talk us through, talk us through what you're doing. That'd be perfect.
So the first section is actually very important, and all it's going to be is sections like this. So these are vertical sections. So the whole haircut will be done with vertical sections, just like that. But the difference here, I'm going to start working and using my scissors like a razor. Now that's very important. Now, when I say I'm going to work like a razor, but I still got a scissors in my hand, which means that I've got other potential, that I'm going to use. The razor, we know that, for instance, when you use the razor, the angle is very important. We always recommend to cut at 45 degrees. You cut too flat and the ends are way too thin, and it can cause a problem in the look when the clients come back, etc. But so the angle. But here I'm working with a scissors. So I'm going to do partly razoring with it and partly cutting. So you will see what I mean in a second, because I'm about to start. Right. So I've created 3. So I'm thinking those 3 here should stay a bit longer in the face, and then the other 2 are the ones that are going to be a bit shorter. Let me just straighten up this a little bit. Right. So we've got the nose area now. Okay. So right, I'm going to drop it down a bit. Right. So position is quite important. For me, your body position is crucial when you work. Okay. Okay, so now the areas near the sections, I call them a transitional zone. So this zone here, I want them long to then be able to decide, do I want to link them together or not? At the moment, my idea is to not link any at all, and to see if we can create something really cool with that. So first, we're going to just work, and I'm going to work. So you see, I'm obviously keeping that length here, working here, and then sliding down. But now I know that I want the fringe longer, so I'm going away, and here we go. Right now, I may revisit that section, depends, and actually just a little bit. I may just reduce the length. It's very simple. You just go in. Now, normally you could slide. If you slide, you're making your scissors act like a razor. Here, I want a sharper edge, because I want that broken, effect, that slightly blunter. So I'm doing that slightly, but ever slightly, and then losing a little bit of the length, and that's it. Okay. So
using scissors as you would a razor. Is this all again just from this sort of love of experimenting and trying different things out? And
exactly, because I want to discover something. I want to discover something. What I do keep is the reason why I shared that video about these guys sculpting is because this is what I'm still keeping in my head. I'm sculpting a shape. I'm not going random on it. I know exactly what I want. So second one. So again, if you wanted a short, you go a bit higher, but here I'm going to stay. Now I'm going to explain why I wanted this approach. The idea for me was to, one second, because I don't like to do things and talk at the same time. Right. And the idea for me was to create highs and lows within the haircut. So when you lift it, you'll have highs and lows. This actually comes from a very old thing. It was the finger waves. So when you do finger waves, you have highs and lows. In fact, in France, we call them hills and valley. The valley is the low part of the finger wave, and then the hill is the high part. And I thought, can I do the same concept in the haircut? So by cutting the way I'm doing it, it should create that wave, and those waves in it will add to the texture. Right here. So this is the long part. I'm going to take this now here, Same thing here. I mean, so far so good. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really. I'm really pleased about what. Yeah, again, I bear in mind the length that I want. I want a bit of length, so I just. But you see the motion with my scissors. I'm still doing that, just ever slightly. Yeah. Okay, this is good. Now, this area here, I want to go a bit higher, so that I'm going to approach that same way, but the end will be different. So let's see if I can control that aspect. Again, I've not done that technique. You know, I've tried it to see if it was going to work, because obviously I wanted to see if the idea works behind it. You know, but now I'm gonna try and see how much control do I get. You know, and I think it's gonna be. Gary, can you come and hold the thing? Because as I'm pulling, yeah, cheers. Because here I need a bit of tension, and then see, I'm going a bit tighter. Brilliant. Wow, this is cool. Yeah, this is good. This is exactly what I wanted here. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so let's do that on the other side. Okay. Now, the color plays a major part as well. You know, it plays. You see how the color certainly comes to life. You know. So the hills and the valley, I think that's a really interesting concept. Hills in the valley, the highs and the lows in the haircut. And bang, see it go. All right, this is cool. Okay, so let's see so far. I've got, actually, let me finish these two, and then we'll have the transitional section, which actually just gone. There you go. Can you take this away? Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, great. These are the experimental section. I call it experimental because this actually, I'm going to visit this right at the end. I don't know yet if it needs to be, because this plays a part in the style, just like the back. You know, if I cut the back off, I haven't got a mallet anymore. But but the size could be what will update the look, what will bring a modern aspect to it. I don't know yet. I don't know. But if you leave it, you might get more of a Chelsea cut than a mallet, you know, so you might lose the style altogether. Right now here I want, so this part was a bit short. So this one, I want to link it, but not completely. So we need to we elevate. So the way I've been doing so far is that you elevate slightly and then you start. So it's a hacking mode. The irregularity in the cut is also what's very important. So I'm going to wet that again a bit more. Hold the piece, please. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, that's good. It's all right, isn't it? It's looking all right. Yeah. So you see that piece, I really like. This is from Billy No Mates. She probably doesn't want that because it's a temple. And I thought, you know what? Mid fringe, a new thing, a mid fringe. Because then when you pull it, you can get different variation. I think that's a cool thing. Right, let's come on the other side. Right, same thing, same approach. Okay, elevate slightly. Okay, remember, so we're working with zero connection. Okay, no hard lines, but I'm creating a shape, a 3D shape that's always in my mind. So the visualization of the cut is constant and present. Yeah, so that's good.
Earlier, you were talking about success and failure and how it shouldn't be viewed like that. Do you think that sort of mentality, does it take sort of strength and learning about that to realize that something's not a failure, it's just a sort of learning curve, do you think?
It's a mindset, you know, in society, you know, it's used a lot. It's always about failure and success, you know, and we use that a lot. And I realized that actually this term is not, looking at things this way is not actually beneficial when you're trying to create. It's all right when you're doing something else, yes, but when you actually want to, at the creative part, the draft, you know, the draft is like drawing, you know, it's the first drawing you create, you know. So at the draft stage, you can't have that aspect of success and failure. I want to, you know, if you within the team and you're trying to develop a look, you don't want the one that be the most successful one and the one that have the crap ideas, you know. We all know, especially people at the top, will definitely know that not all great ideas come from the top, and you've got to be a great listener. And within the team, to be a listener, we got to remove success and failure. We got to see it as a journey where we make discoveries. And then, do we want the discovery? Do we not? What we discovered, is it good? Is it not? Then at this stage, you know, what we do as a team with Sylvestre and Kerry, we then start editing a lot, you know, editing, just like a computer editing, you know, a Photoshop, you know, you edit until it's finished, until you're ready to present that look. So here, I'm doing a look that is going to be at the draft stage. We'll see later on, we'll develop it and see if we'll be ready at the editing stage. I don't know yet, we'll see. So I'm going to start with the back. So the back, again, I'm not sure that I want to connect the two together. This is actually quite long on the top, huh? I may cut a bit more on that, but we'll see. But same approach, so very simple. So we're talking here, the same thing again. We're talking here, vertical section, right? Now I elevate this, right? Like I said, I don't want to connect too much, but I'm going to keep some length there. So, shall I go shorter? Because at first I was thinking, yeah,
It'd be good actually. Yeah.
Okay. Because at first I thought maybe I keep the back longer and that's shorter. But you think I could short that because that can stick up a bit, no?
You can push this forward, yeah.
Yeah. Shall I try? Right. Okay. Well, we're going to try and go shorter. So that means I got to get closer to the root area on top here, and same thing. And then I start. Now, because you got to hold the piece and go down. Now, you see the movement I followed. So you follow, and then you get that. Quite interesting here. Let me give me another piece. Let's do this one as well. Now, you know, I forgot to say, actually, you know, if you're the kind of guy that wants straight lines, follow the guideline, and this is the only way to cut, well, you know, this is not the session for you, for sure. But also, I would say you need to rethink, because, you know, things evolve, things change. And when you're doing that kind of thing, you know, you challenge yourself, you know, does it work still? And I think it will work really well.
Did you find the whole lockdown experience and coming back from that, did you find it's actually made you more creative and more sort of willing to experiment and try things out?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the time, you know, basically this is time spent alone, you know, and when for me, you know, I like my own company. I don't get bored. I never get bored. You know, in fact, I always have, my problem is, you know, there's too many things I want to do. I had to create a list of things I wanted to do, you know. So it makes you think about, you know, okay, I know I'm not always doing things like this, but what if I approach the whole thing differently? Will I get a different result, you know? There you go, let's do that.
So when you're, sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
No, I was just, when you're sort of looking for looks and you're taking inspiration, so you're taking stuff from it seems like from nature, so you're talking about hills and valleys and stuff. Are you looking at everything and trying to take inspiration from it?
Yes. Now, I know this question is asked a lot, and people are, I'll just go a bit more. And people ask me, where'd you get this inspiration? You know, it's not a textbook thing, you know, it's not what the main thing that is important, and that's for, hold it up. Yeah. The main thing is that you stay in tune with the way you feel. So this is the source of inspiration, is how you feel. So your stay curious will bring your mind, your interest in something different, and that sparks something that creates a feeling, and this guides you to your source of inspiration, you know. Then you start coming up with ideas, you know. But you got to stay curious. You've got to stay open-minded, you know. Right. You see how I'm holding the scissors as well. That's quite important. We've seen that there's many ways that we hold scissors. And this is one way that's very ergonomic. You know, you can, right, so let's see. Now, I'm gonna put a bit of water. Okay. Well, we have the stage. I don't need all this length. I mean, you could keep that length. I want people to try for themselves and see, you know, what they can come up with, you know. For me, I'm thinking, can I have the water again, please? I'm thinking, geez. Yeah, thanks. I'm thinking, right, I actually quite like the length, but I think it's too long. So I think it's too long. We've done it one before. So I think about here, or a bit longer.
We leave it a bit longer.
Cut a bit more, yeah? All right, let's do that. A bit there, okay. You see how we work. So then here, I'm gonna literally cut. So I want that hacked effect. Now it's not random. I'm just using it like a semi razor, but really keeping the line in shape. But I don't want a hard line on it. Okay. Right. So this is for now. Okay. We'll have a look at that a bit later. So now I want to see. Okay. So we're there. So let's have a look at where we are with the cuts. All right. Let's look at it, because now we've got the text. We've got the important part. Straight up. Yeah. Okay. So we've got these. So these sections. Do we want them long or not? What do you guys think?
Not too long.
I think not too long, because you lose that. Huh? Yeah. I think how about shall I?
Past the jaw, maybe.
Shall I try with a bit more length? Yeah. Again, we're trying to see, you know, do we get something else? And also, I'm going to work in here as well. You know, give a not a blend, but some shorter, so it's really kind of, you know, random. When you twist the hair, you'll have some good interaction with it all. So yeah, let's try this way.
What's your sort of history and overall opinion on the mullet as this, you know, like controversial within sort of commercial circles? Is it to you still a challenge to like make it exciting and different?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Say it again.
Just your opinions on the mullet and your history on the mullet, how you've done it before.
The mullet is funny, you know. I mean, you know, all hairdressers will agree. You know, you heard it so many times. Clients saying, "How's that?"
That's good.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh? Because that can be then pushed or lifted. Lifted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So diagonal, that's pretty good. Because the mallet is the cut. Is the cut that client says, I don't want a mallet. You know, they almost, you know, there's a fear.
Yeah.
You know, but it's loved. You know, a lot of people love to have that mallet. So it has that double thing. You know, love and hate.
I like the fringe longer.
Do you like it? It works, doesn't it?
Like it, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Yeah. Billy no mate. Let me tell you how she got the name. I love the story of, you know, she went to see Sleaford Mods, you know, another band, and she went alone in Southampton. And, you know, some guy said to her, she was alone in the thing, and she said, a guy went to her and said, "Hey, are you Billy No Mate?" You know, and I love that, because then she said, "Thanks, mate, genius," because she already made music. She was already making music, but she had no name. She didn't, you know.
Yeah,
and I love that story. Right, so we've got something going on there. It's pretty cool. Now this haircut, I think we need to evolve when it's dry as well. Huh? Now I just want to see whether we want to shift a bit more to the top. What do you think? So here we've got pretty much no connection here. So this kind of goes along like that. What do you think?
So what do you think if you take that shorter
This
point
shorter,
here?
yeah.
Shorter, yeah. Okay, I'm going to use it while it's texturizing. But before that, I just want to tackle this a little bit more. Just a few bits, and then, okay. Right, this is what I'm encouraging hairdressers to do. You know, take a head. Don't do it alone if you don't have the courage to do it within your team. Do it alone and start playing. Start playing with it, and with that, break all the rules. You know, and think, all right, I'm just going to work with it. What it also teaches you is how much knowledge do you have in creating a shape like a sculpture. You know, because this is a very important. Okay, what did you, shorter here. So let's go through with another technique. You know, when we twist the hair, because that will elevate. So just, let me wet it a bit. Now, right, let's do this before. So I'm gonna just take a little piece. Actually, you could even grab it randomly, but here, just want it on the top, just well, randomly, because the location is very important, where you grab it. So here, okay, and I'm gonna twist it, okay, and then I'm gonna open up, because I want that to kind of lift. So inside, I need to create some short bits. So you just, you see what I'm doing, and that should create some bits that split up and stay up a bit. Same thing here. And then at the roots, higher and higher. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to do it slightly lower at the back, middle of the back as well, just to make sure I've got everything. Yeah, and then here. Actually, no, this is good. This is good, isn't it? Oh, what do you think?
Yeah, through here, yeah.
You think through there? Yeah, to elevate that, yeah.
So you don't like to connect it, just like
not connect it, but just to break it up so it lifts as well, so you don't get a flat and low. Yeah, totally. Because otherwise, what could happen? You end up with that and that. Might be something you want, but in our case here, it's not. So we want to have this here elevates itself. So I'm going to take this piece here, just a center piece, twist it in the same way, and then
as it's looking now, what type of person would you recommend this cut for?
well, again, you've got to find, the clients. You've got to do the kind of haircut that really works on the type of client. So you have to identify your client. This is why I think it's very important when you're in the salon. When the client comes in, I see sometimes people, they just put the gown on straight away. It's a big mistake. Don't put the gown. Start talking to the clients when you can see your clothes, you can get the style, of the person. And again, this is a more extreme version, but you could do a similar approach and a much more gentle version that a clients would actually want. I think that you can get clients that will want, this kind of haircuts. That what makes it commercial is you being able to repeat it. That's what, because the clients will come back and say, right, I love it, I want the same. And of course, if you just went with flair, the chance of doing the same is going to be hard. But if you put that process that we just put, if you have your format and you've got your all your structure behind, you're able to then repeat it. And that's why it's very important to put that in place. Right. That's why I call it a framework. It's a framework. I have a framework, and a framework techniques very different. The technique, you have literally every step already pre-programmed. A framework is much wider. You can have a similar framework, and within you can change a lot of things. Right? Shall we try that and see what it does?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a bit of this because I want that to. There you go. So see, yeah, that looks cool.
Very cool, yeah.
Yeah, mid fringe.
Mhm.
Oh no, maybe we call it different.
Hmm.
Okay, let's push a bit more. That's just give me a bit more control when I'm drying it. You know, nothing too hard, but I definitely think the back needs to work a bit. Maybe we'll bend it a bit with the iron. But okay, let's dry. How far are we? How long are we? How many minutes have we been on?
We've been on for 40 minutes. So
All right, I got 5 minutes to finish it.
5 minutes.
Speed. All right, 1 second. No, it's not on that one. I need to be in front of it and just see what I'm doing with it. Right. I had a mid fringe idea. That's cool, isn't it?
Mhm.
You can push it like, look, you can push it that way. You can push it that way. Come, Sylvester, come out in front. Look, the mid fringe. You can make it like with an attitude, or you can push it this way and have a bit more softness to it, or even like this way. Ah, works. Huh? Yeah. Can you put the last penny out?
No?
Yeah. Or the medium level. Not this one, like the turning one. The one? Yeah, the turn. Yeah, see that? That's really cool.
So I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I know you probably went into this without not entirely sure how it was going to come out, but how would you describe it in a few words now, what you think you've created there?
Well, I think I created. I've updated. I've got the new rock and roll mallet. I've got it. I'm very pleased. This is completely rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, and rock and roll because it would be like, you know, you push it up and you got bits that come out, but you got a very well defined structure. The shape is there.
Mm.
I think it works, you know, and I think we, as a team, we can develop that into different looks, you know, and see. And then, of course, if you want to do it in a salon, we just got to think about, you know, how do we approach this to make it work in a salon. Now, imagine if you do that in a salon, you become unique. You're the only one, especially the approach. If you tell the story of how you came up with it with your clients, the client will come back because your clients come back to you for your mind, not your hands. Your hands just apply techniques, but your mind makes you unique and special. And that's what we do to stay relevant.
Mm. We've had some nice feedback. So someone called Josh saying, love these types of cuts. So fun to do.
Just going to carry on. The product is good and gives you a great but without being too sticky. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I use that. It's really good because it's not too sticky, but it gives me a really great grip, and the hair really moves how I want. That was products are important. I'm not plugging a product here, but what I'm saying is products are important. They're there for a reason, and the reason is to give you that extra control of hair is like a material, you know. Yeah. Color is really cool. Kerry's got a fantastic color. You see, and now I wouldn't go too nuts with that kind of color, with that kind of haircut, because you don't want one that it sounds like you're just piling up too many ideas on one. You choose what's well your strength, and then you have here. It's a very strong haircut, so we want a color that complements it. Sometimes you have a really strong color, and you want a haircut that complements it. It's almost like that concept of slave and master. Huh? So you've got to decide which is the master, and then the one that the slave is the one that really adds to it. Slave and master. That it comes from computing as well. Yeah. I don't look in the past. I draw from the past. So I look at reference and I draw from that, and I think, oh, actually, I'm going to take one element of that, revisit it, and see what I can come up with. But you've got to do it without fear. And the way I said about how we work, that's how you can do it without fear. So like I said, normally this type of session wouldn't be live. We do it among us. And then you see us on stage and we present a look and you think, wow, this is a great idea. We work on it, and we work right from that, Because there's a point we say, right, do we like this? Do we like that? Or I like the fact that it's very, it's got really a raw edge to it, Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Let me just do a bit more of the. Do I want to use the iron or not? Wait. Maybe I just bend it a bit. No, I think. You think?
Yeah, it's not full like this, huh?
Wait 1 second. Let me try a bit more. I don't want 100% dry type of thing, so yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to cut some more parts. Actually, I'm going to use the clipper for this. I've not used the clipper yet. I'm going to use that. Right, so this is good. I want to cut a bit more. Again, I'm using the clipper like a razor. So here, really, what I'm showing is that your tool is just a tool. And it has many ways to use a tool, that gives you different results. And then actually, there's something I want to say about tools. The texturizer, especially the texturizer, actually. The texturizer has a bad reputation. But let me tell you, there's no bad tools. There's only a bad artist, So you've got to learn the features of the tool and then use them when you feel that it can add to your style, Right, so let's dig a bit more into it. Yeah, that's cool. I like the, yeah, that's good. And then, what do you think? I should bend it or not? See this? You think no? Or do you think I should bend it a bit like that? No. Quite like it. So I try a tiny bit. Yeah. Yeah. Quite like that squareness to it. I'm gonna keep that.
Shape is great. Huh?
Yeah. Again, you could make that into whatever shape. I thought this will work well, so I just went for that. You know, that's really good. Okay, yeah, let's bend it. See, I don't know yet if I like it. I'll do the back.
Just, yeah.
Then I can see. But I really, it's just like a bend, isn't it? A bit more now. A bit more? Yeah, a bit more. That's the thing, you know, not too much. And again, you see, I'm trying. Is the movement something that will work well? Okay, so
You just turn your tongue like vertically
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
completely down. So we do
Yeah.
it completely down, yeah. So like
And
that,
you
yeah.
just, yes, exactly. You just rub the hair. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So you don't get too much fleek on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that one. Yeah. You see, just to get the movement, you know, what movement should be there or not, you know.
Mm.
And then let's do that. Again, you know what? To look like it's you know, the idea for me, the story behind it is that she just got up, you know, that's the rock and roll aspect, you know.
Yeah.
Got up ready
Yeah.
to go, and shall I bend it this way?
Yeah.
See, this is how we work within the team, you know, this way, you know.
Yeah, it seems
And then we
like
cover what actually matters in the look, you know. There'll be aspect of it actually. If you get that wrong, it doesn't get the look. If you get it right, then be careful this way.
And me.
Yeah. If you get it right, then you've got something fresh, you know. So
how important do you think it is to have sort of
That's
be
good.
collaborating all the time and having someone to sort of be there to tell you, oh, this has gone too far, or just to sort of point it in the
well,
right
yeah, absolutely. Because you know, when you have a level, when you focus, and you have a level of focus, then suddenly you don't see things, you know. So having three minds, I think this is just three minds. Imagine if you have a bigger team, you know, and then you fine tune your look, you know. There's a point where you've got to tell yourself, right, enough now. I've got it, you know. I think I've got it.
That looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, eh? There you go. We've got the rock and roll mullet.
rock and roll mullet.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of products on it.
A bit of what?
A little bit of products.
Yeah. What can I use? Something that's. Which one shall I use? Do you think the freeze thing? I don't know something.
Have a go with it.
No, that one claps a bit, no?
Mm.
Actually. Again, something. The products would be quite important. Nothing too. I want to stay. Reset.
Yeah, the texture one.
Reset. Reset is one of the sprays, like a dry shampoo. We want to just to give a bit more texture, open up the style, and really show off the features of the cut. Quite like that fringe. So we're gonna. You got it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. You know, and then you have bits that come out like that. With the back, you can really look too much. The difficulty, the thing that you have to be careful as hairdressers is that knowing not to put your hands too much on it to start looking, because the idea is to keep it looking natural. And obviously, the more you control the hair, the less natural it looks. So there's a point where you gotta stop, you know. And I'm pretty much on the ends there. Just gonna go back.
I love it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, bit of spray maybe.
Mm.
No, it doesn't need
fine,
spray. Doesn't need spray. Actually, just a bit more reset. Now I quite like if this comes out a bit more. Yeah, there you go. Right, let me just put a bit of spray. Tiny amount. And let's see. Right, so I want to bring up some of the features of the cuts. So yeah, you see that? That's really cool. So I go. Yeah, that's good. You've got to keep a. Yeah. like that.
That's good, like on
Yeah.
the faces. Yeah.
Yeah, the temple, mid fringe. There you go. See, we've got something new. And then, yeah, that's good too. That's it. Shall we film it all around?
Yeah, perfect. We'll do a quick 360 and
Yeah, 360.
Yeah.
Works, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what did we learn from this one? I think that's an interesting thing. So, I think for me, you know, all this part here, it's not revolutionary. You know, we've seen it before. We've put our twist on it, right? But here, I think what I find interesting that we could play with is a mid fringe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Should we call that mid fringe because it's in the middle? It's just, you know, normally you have a fringe that goes up to here, a mid fringe, and then you got that, and then that's it. And this is the end. Well, I hope you enjoy.
amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No,
for
my
showing
pleasure.
us.
Let me just grab this now, and we're going to turn back to me. One second. And yeah, I'm pleased. Look at that. I'm pleased with it.
Good.
I think it's a good start, you know. Okay, let me go back to the thing and finish it. Right. So you see the session. This is not just about cutting hair, but it's about discovering things that you're going to think, well, do you know what? I can take some aspect to the salon, some aspect to the stage as well. And this is how you do it. You do it alone or you do it within the team. But one thing is for sure, you must do it. It's very important to really challenge yourself. This is what I keep saying. Challenge yourself is the only way to evolve. Once you evolve, you will then stay relevant within what we do.
Robert, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the whole team. That was a really exciting look into sort of the creative process. Hope it's inspired.
Hope you
a lot of
enjoyed it. I
people.
really want everybody to start being experimental and experiment. Everybody get ahead and start experimenting. I'll say
Perfect.
goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. See you later,
Cheers,
everyone.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.